Welcome once again to yet another episode of the Beard Al Podcast, a podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And I am Lauren. I am here, and we have a friend of the show and a guy that we all know because we know a guy. Noah is back. Hey, how are you, my friend?
I am great. Happy to be here. Yeah. Just loving life.
Good. And what a time to be alive. As we are, the day we're recording this actually is the day that Al kicks off the 2026 edition of the Bigger and Weirder tour. And we both have concerts coming up, right? Do you get to see him before I do, though, don't you?
Yep. I am seeing him this weekend in Greenville. And we had talked about this a while back, but it's the first time that I'm seeing him in an arena.
Yeah.
And so I am very excited about that. It's wild to me how even, a couple of years ago, I was seeing him just in a regular small theater, and now in the last few years, it's like we're having this kind of renaissance. So it's very fun to see.
It is so fun to see. And actually, it's funny, like the way time is a flat circle. By the time the people hear this episode, we will have both seen the show. But as we're doing this now, we haven't. But yeah, I haven't seen him in an arena either. I've seen him in amphitheaters and theaters and fairgrounds and inside amusement parks, but never an arena. So I'm excited for my first Weird Al Arena show. Weird Al Arena? No.
Weird Al Arena. Yeah, I like that. It works.
But yeah, Noah, you are you're here for track 2 on side 2 of Even Worse, which is Melanie. You chose this. But before we get into why you chose that, anything you wanted to talk about at the jump? Anything you're doing that people should check out? Anything cool?
Oh boy. Well, maybe this was back about a year ago. I did start a podcast called the Jury House Podcast. So I've talked about this before, but I'm a huge fan of social strategy games. I love Survivor, love Big Brother, and so I wanted to go back to the early seasons of Big Brother because those are seasons that don't get talked a lot about in podcast form, and so I did. I found someone that was willing to do it with me, so we talked about Big Brother 3. So we'll put that information in the description, but yeah, that's likely the only season that is ever going to be done of the Jury House Podcast, but go ahead and listen to it because I had a lot of fun making it. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, well, you never know what you might do next. Keep everybody on their toes.
Very true.
All right, speaking of being on your toes, Melanie, so yeah, this at face value sounds like a sweet and earnest love song until you actually listen to the lyrics. It's Al doing a full-on creepy obsession ballad where the narrator thinks he's being romantic, but he's clearly terrifying.
Absolutely. Yep. I was this is because I think this might be a controversial song. This might be a song that people listen to and think, oh, that's a little too touchy of a subject for me. But I think that I have always enjoyed when he's willing to kind of push those limits. I love The Good Old Days, which is on the same album. I Remember Larry, which is another similarly kind of zany song where you have a narrator that's kind of slowly going crazy throughout the whole thing. So I can really appreciate the fact that he was willing to take a subject like this so seriously, but make it something where it's very obvious that this is the narrator of the song is not the person that you should be rooting for in any way.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And, it's It's one of those things that Al does super duper well, right? Where he takes something that feels familiar, and then he pushes it into the realm of the absurd, where like it's exactly like what you said, like we are conditioned as people, I think, to root for the narrator of a love song, right? We want to be like, oh, this is so sweet, like, but no, you don't root for this guy. No, you absolutely do not. But there's something like weirdly endearing about the song, just in general. It sounds super sweet, and it's one of those songs that makes me think of during the unfortunate return of the ridiculously self-indulgent, ill-advised Vanity tour, there was some moron from some local news outlet that like clung on to Melanie and how this is the kind of thing that, like, how dare we let our children listen to this sort of thing? Like, it's just so terrible and it's just so awful and blah blah blah. Like, I don't even care. Like, there are even like people in Weird Al circles that have said things along the lines of, "Oh, this was funny when I was a kid, but now as an adult, like this hits different and it's just not funny." It's funny.
Yeah, and I was listening to the song today. I was listening on YouTube, and I was going to the comments section, and but I found a comment that was funny, where it was this guy talking about how he used to listen to it as a kid because he had a crush on a girl named Melanie, and at the time he thought it was just this like earnest love song, so he would listen to it thinking about his Melanie. And it's one of those things that, like, when you're a kid, it probably does come off that way, and then as you get to be an adult, the meaning changes and you realize kind of how the song went over your head. But that's kind of the great thing about comedy in a lot of ways, is that there are certain things that either you take too seriously as a kid, or as an adult you're able to appreciate how he kind of turns this subject on its head.
Yeah, and again, it's the juxtaposition of the way the song sounds with what the lyrics are actually saying. It's that, like, you could, if you put this song on, some like playlist for like a garden party, unless people are paying attention, nobody's gonna, bat an eyelash about this.
Yeah,
because it's a sweet little catchy song.
Yeah, exactly. And like, for anyone that has a problem with it, it's like, okay, then stop listening to Every Breath You Take by Police.
Yes.
Like, people for years listen to that song, love that song, treat it the exact same way of, oh, this is so romantic. I didn't Sting even like get tired of playing the song because people were
yeah
not taking it as it was.
Yes, people absolutely need to pay attention. There is no reason for songs like Every Breath You Take to be played at anybody's wedding, or Better Man by Pearl Jam. Right. Yeah, people play that at weddings. They absolutely should not be playing that at weddings. I'd go as far as to even say like More Than Words. Right? People find that, but like, it's like, no. Have you listened to the lyrics though?
Right.
So, yeah, people just get sucked into whatever the chorus says and the melody, and don't listen to it. And the melody of Melanie does precisely that, but no. So I must ask you then,
Yes.
do you think, I'll make this a two-part question.
Okay.
Does the upbeat sound of the song make the lyrics feel even more unhinged? And have you found yourself getting this stuck in your head anyway?
Yes and yes. Because I was thinking, as I was listening to the song today, like I was really focused on the harmonies. I was really even focused on like the drums. Um, I don't know what it was, but I think that as I was listening to the song, I was like, this is a very like dream gazy kind of song. So you have this narrator who is clearly having delusions that this woman would have any interest in him. And I just felt like having it be uh, a very like dreamy love song, it almost kind of feeds into this idea of, oh, you're listening to this man like fall into his delusions, because it feels very dreamy when those harmonies come in, like the ooh ooh oohs.
Mm-hmm.
um I'm you just kind of yeah, get the sense that this guy is just falling further and further into his daydreams and into his delusions, and in much the same way as I said before, when you're listening to a song like I Remember Larry or Good Old Days.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that he's falling even further and further into his delusions, so much so that at the end he ultimately falls out the
Yeah,
window, you know? Um,
yeah,
so yeah, getting more into the meat of the lyrics then, uh, I'm looking at my notes and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to try and paraphrase this. The narrator, romantic or menace? Dun dun dun.
dun, dun, dun.
So it's kind of like what you said, right? Is the narrator frames himself as this lovesick underdog because he's deluded himself into thinking that that is precisely what he is, you know? And what I love lyrically about this is you're almost at the end of the first verse before you understand how incredibly creepy things are about to get, right? Because it starts off him just setting this stage about this woman and blah, 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 blah. And it's a blink or you'll miss it. You know, never would have found her if I hadn't bought that telescope.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my God, this is going somewhere dark, like super fast.
Right. Yeah, yeah, because you think it's a meet cute, and then it's, you know, yeah, you think it's a meet cute, and then you realize, oh, there's one party that doesn't know that a meet cute has happened.
That's right. Somebody has no idea that there was a meet cute happening here. Oh no. Oh God. Yeah. So that's a whole lot happening there. But like every detail in this, like as it goes through, it there is no like ebb and flow in this song, right? It's like all up, all progressively worse.
Worse. Yep.
Right? The watching her through the telescope, calling her all the time when he gave a mohawk to her cat. I need to pause on that one.
Okay.
Even if you're
How?
that deluded, right? Well, first of all, how?
Well, how?
And this could go either way. Like, how do you picture it? Is it just the cat's head with the mohawk, or is it the entire body of the cat? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it would be the head. I mean, yeah, I have to imagine it would just be the head, unless he was trying to do like something more to the cat. You know, like if you.
I don't know. And so I just like when a mohawk to your cat, I'm like, okay. It's like one of those mind things where it's like how would a dog wear pants? Do you know, would it wear it on the back legs or would it wear it on all the legs? Like
all the legs. Right. And what does he think? Like, why give a cat a mohawk? Why do you think that is like the ultimate expression of love?
Yeah, that's the one thing that like there's always something that that just makes no sense at all. Like even all of the ridiculous things that the narrator does in this song, like you can walk it back and find a kernel of logic as to why he would do it, you know, except for the Mohawk cat thing. Like, yeah, I tattooed, you know, your name across my forehead. Like, okay, like it's insane, but like I can see how that would say devotion, or, you know, I have to go through your garbage just to learn more about you. I'm sure there's part of the narrator that's like, well, no, this is sweet. Like, I want to understand the details of her existence so that I can, you know, really be who and what she wants me to be, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Because I think Al a lot of times will do that where he'll list like, here's 3 maybe normal things in a song, and then he just has to throw in like this random thing that the average person wouldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's exactly what you said. It's like the narrator sees himself one way and everybody else sees him, you know, in a different way. But it's one of those things, like there's a nugget of reality, I guess, in that, very much along the lines of from earlier in this album, You Make Me, right? Where I am so in love that I'm doing all of these things that make no earthly sense because you make me want to do this, you know? And Melanie is very much the same way. Well, it's like, okay, like I love you so much. I'm going to tattoo your name across my forehead. And, you know, I promise to be true. And I'm going to call you and go through your garbage and like do all this and that and the other. And then, you know, jump out from the 16th story window right above you. Now I may be dead, but I still love you.
I still love you.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah. I do think that tattooing her name on her forehead, on his forehead, is a lot less painful than if he were to carve her name in his leg.
In my leg. In my leg.
So he's not quite as crazy as that guy, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, the carving the name in the leg and in my leg would be. I don't even love that song, but the way that he delivers that line gets me. But you're right; like it would be more painful.
Right, but I do think that the guy in Do I Creep You Out is actually more self-aware than this guy, because at least he's asking if the things he's doing are creepy.
Right.
You know, he's not going to stop, but he is going to.
But you're right. Her. Yeah, that's a good point. The self-awareness is a really, really good point here. Because, you know, do I creep you out? Like, okay, like that's a reasonable question, right? But yeah, this guy would have done in Melanie would have done well to like take a step back and think and kind of ask himself, do I creep her out? But to this point, this is nowhere in the notes, but I am getting like in my head about it now. So he's so in his head about it because he watched her with a telescope. So he saw like the most mundane, intimate things of her regular life, right? So there can be something said about the fact that it's really not unlike what happens today with people and the internet and like parasocial relationships, how like you feel like you know somebody that you don't know. Right? You know, I was about to say, you know, but I was like, you know somebody that you don't know, you know? But I was like, too many you knows. But like that happens to me and Russ here in Jacksonville because we've We've talked about it on the show,
yeah.
but we have our Jacksonville Fun Eats and Drinks like group and stuff, and we wear the shirts as we do, and so like we go places and people just come over to us and start talking to us like they know us,
Right.
and it's like, whoa, like hold on a second, like our group has almost like 40,000 people in it.
Wow.
And you get people to come over to us because I'm sure they've commented on something in the group somewhere, which is great. Like that's what we're here for. But like there's so many people. Then you get somebody that comes up to you and they're like, "It's me, Susan." I'm like, there's at least 200 Susans.
200.
You know?
Right.
And so, it's great though. I absolutely love it because, once you get talking to people, you're like, okay, like I've met you. Now I know you, Right. But like, it's very much that. It's like, and I get how it happens, because we post about stuff we're doing, places we're eating. Everybody knows that my husband likes seafood more than I do. Like, that's just a fact of life. And, the fact that people know those kind of things, it's like, okay, well, it's how it goes. But like, we did it on purpose. It's not like anybody's got a telescope.
Right. But that's an interesting thing because, we are at a point where everybody has, a social media page. They've got the ability to post their life there. And it's kind of interesting that there's kind of this like trade-off we've all decided to make. I mean, I think in many ways that the internet, for all its faults, can be really amazing and great. Great place for connection, but that is kind of interesting. It's the thing that used to only be reserved for like proper Hollywood celebrities, and now we're all kind of a part of that culture.
Yeah, it's wild to think about it. It's one of those. This is like still like tangentially related, to the song and stuff. But one of the things I teach in one of my intro level writing classes is when we're doing our argumentative essay, everybody does the same topic, and we talk about whether or not they believe that social media is beneficial in contemporary society, right? And you start that by saying there's no right or wrong answer to that question, right? Because there's so many things about social media that are awesome. Like, I know you because of social media, and we have met in person, by the way. Yeah. But like, I know you because of social media. I know my husband because of social media. But at the same time, there's so many bad things, that the internet and social media kind of does, where it's like this guy here in this song is very much hiding behind the distance of the telescope and kind of, has he actually had a conversation with her? You don't.
No, he keeps hanging up on her.
Right. So it's like, what is this? And like, so, anyhow, that's just kind of where we are as a world now. But yeah, like I have in my notes here that each verse gets more invasive and ridiculous, which felt like a good way to get back into the thing of this, because this is, social media is also invasive and ridiculous, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I stick to my circles, so that I'm not having to deal with all the ridiculousness. But
you kind of have to. You kind of have to. You absolutely have to. And just one last thing before I remember to throw it to an ad break this time, because I'm sorry about the last episode, folks. I was like too involved in the conversation, forgot to let an ad break happen. So the robots put the ads wherever it felt like they went. So that's just kind of how that is and was. But this is just classic Weird Al escalation, right? The leap from obsessed guy to dead but still obsessed is exactly the kind of thing that you expect Weird Al to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, speaking of the kind of thing that you expect people to do. This is me throwing it to ads. And remember, the ads are stuff that you've Googled. So, enjoy that. We'll be back in a minute. And we're back. Wow. Those were great. Or not.
I love them. I love commercialism. So yeah, loved it.
It's great. It's great. Yay, go capitalism. So on the backside of those ads, let's dig a little bit into the musical style and tone of Melanie.
Yep.
This is a Weird Al original. It is not a parody, and it's not really even a style parody of anything specific that I could find. Could you find anything?
So
go.
It appears to be a style parody of "You're My Favorite Waste of Time" by Owen Paul. So that's actually a cover, to go back to the theme that this is the covers album. But the chorus of Melanie specifically really mimics the chorus of "You're My Favorite Waste of Time." And I was actually listening to "You're My Favorite Waste of Time" today, because I had seen it mentioned on one of the Weird Al sites, and I was listening to that song, and I was like, okay, this structure is actually very similar to Melanie. Like the opening chorus is very similar when it goes right from that like a cappella chorus into the verse. The guitars come in, and I think there's also some harmonies in there. So but that just made me think about how keen of an ear that Al has, that even when he is not doing a direct parody, but just taking from like maybe one or two songs from an artist, that the fact that he's able to pick out some really key staples of those songs and then turn it into something that's completely different but really, really works, is something that I've just found really remarkable.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, for sure. And now that you have pointed that out to me, I had to I go to ye old internet about it because it is a cover originally by Marshall Crenshaw, who's the Someday Someway guy. And then it was covered initially by Bette Midler in 1983. And then Owen Paul covered it in 1986. And so you mentioning that, like, what Weird Al is able to do by creating stuff, I'd be curious to see what Marshall Crenshaw thinks about it, because regarding Owen Paul's version, Marshall Crenshaw said, and I quote, "A guy in Britain picked up on Bette Midler's version of it and had his own smash hit, which still gets played on the radio all the time in Europe. I can't listen to even 20 seconds of that record at all."
Okay, well then I guess maybe he might not be a fan, or maybe he'd be like, yeah, well, at least he changed the words.
So I mean, I'd be curious to see like what he would think about that. But yeah, I mean, dude was like 24 when he did it. Leave him alone.
Yeah. I remember I found the cover many, many years ago when I had first found Melanie and didn't know like if it was an original parody, whatever it was. That I think I found the cover by accident, and then I listened to it and I was like, this sounds a lot like Melanie, and then I found out that it was technically a style parody. So that kind of blew my mind, almost like when I found out that Albuquerque was technically a parody, style parody.
That's wild. Yeah, that's I never would have never would have thought that. Never would have picked that out on my own, that's for sure. So yeah, so he's got that going for him with this, and we've talked a bit about how the way the song sounds contradicts what the song is saying, and that contradiction absolutely makes the lyrics feel even harder than they are, and it's almost like the sweetness of the song musically acts as an absolute like misdirection because you're not expecting what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Lily Hirsch talks about this in her book, how Al frequently will use genre specifically to do that kind of juxtaposition. I'm thinking of something like When I Was Your Age, where it's a song, this like hard rock song, and rock is typically about saying, screw the man. But When I Was Your Age is a song where it's this old crotchety guy talking about the younger generation and how annoying they are.
He literally is the man. Yeah.
Right. And so I think, that it's a similar thing going on here where, because I was thinking too that, there are so many songs like Melanie or Sarah's Smile or Rosanna, where they're centered on specifically like one specific person, and you have this narrator kind of pouring their heart out, and I think that that's what typically, like you were saying before about the chorus being catchy, it's catchy because he's talking about a woman named Melanie. He's talking about his specific love, and I think we all have, and it's also like an unrequited love song, which are the best kind. We all have had those unrequited crushes where you have to listen to a song about unrequited love so that you can get over your own heartache. And yeah.
It's so interesting that you bring that up, because the specificity of it all with like the specific name, right, of that particular name, where as a girl growing up, there was no Lauren song. There were, like you said, there's Sarah Smile, there's, Michelle by the Beatles. Like I had so many friends with songs that had their name. Like I had friends named Leah, and at the very least they got Ah Leah by Donnie Iris. You know what I mean? Ah Leah, here we go. Right. And I'm like, okay, great. I don't have a song. Then, I don't know, about 15 years ago or so, I became aware of a song called Lauren and I by Keith Harkin, who was from Celtic Thunder. And the chorus is Lauren and I. And I'm like, oh, that's my name. That's my name. Right. But now that I think on it, it's an unrequited love song, because everything leading up to him saying Lauren and I is, he goes, and I still can't see you. And I still can't see you. Oh, Lauren and I. I'm like, that's what it is. That's the genre. That's what it is. That's what he's playing with. It's like, Melanie, what can the problem be? Why won't you go out with me? Is just the same as, and I still can't see you, Lauren and I. I'm like, oh man, what a parallel.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, again, so some of the comedy mechanics around this and what makes this work as well as it does. We've talked about the how the song love song structure and the stalker lyrics, like they don't jive super well together, and then the character comedy of it all, where the narrator has absolutely no self-awareness, right? And then to the specificity, like the name, yes. But then there's also like the telescope, the fact that he gave a mohawk to the cat, going through the garbage, the forehead tattoo. Like these are very specific things that occur in the history in the lyrics of the happenings of this song. And then to go back again to my whole Lauren and I thing, there's that's not specific. It's very just pretty kind of, oh, we're outside in the fall kind of language, right? It's, oh, the leaves, oh, see the leaves fall to the ground, oh, how they're lying all around, but still I can't see you. It's like, okay, that's fine. That's no cat mohawk though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not about the person, it's just about how they like feel in their daily life.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then the other thing that just makes this work on a comedic level is the repetition, right? Because he doesn't change up the chorus. Weird Al changes up the lyrics and choruses from time to time, but not in this song. It's still Melanie, what can the problem be? Oh, sweet, why won't you go out with me? Like, the answer is very obvious why she will not go out with you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, have you ever watched the show Family Ties with Michael J. Fox as Alex P. Keaton?
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay. There is a neighbor on a neighbor to the Keaton family named Skippy, who has a crush on Mallory, the sister in the song. And he literally goes the entire stretch of this series wondering why she won't go out with him. And he doesn't do anything quite as crazy as what happens in the song Melanie, but Skippy has no self-awareness. Skippy doesn't understand that showing up to the, she's a kind of a ditzy, preppy girl, and he doesn't realize that showing up, in a pink tuxedo with a ruffly shirt isn't going to like impress her. And so this feels very like if Skippy from Family Ties had gone over the edge, this song might have been called Mallory instead of Melanie.
Oh no. Yeah, I think I've thought about that because that was also a trope in a lot of sitcoms for a while, like Family Matters. You had Steve Urkel, who was in love with Laura.
Yep.
When I was a kid, there was a show called Sister Sister.
I love the Tina and Tamara, yeah.
Yeah, and you had Roger, and he would come over and flirt with the girls, and they'd tell him, "Go home, Roger." And it's interesting. I think that like I said before, it's something we've all experienced to one extent or another in our younger years, but yeah, this is taking it to that extra step where it becomes very unsettling.
Yeah. And speaking of it being unsettling, then we have to ask, could he or would he write a song like this today?
I mean, that's a good question. Do I Creep You Out came out like 20 years ago. So.
Oh my God, I'm ancient. I don't like it.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, like, because I got into Al in 2006 with Straight Outta Linwood, and back then I was like, oh, I'm like, there's so much Al history that I've missed. Like I'm late to the party here. And then I was listening, a couple of years ago to your the one you did with all those kids.
Yeah.
And like, oh, they're saying like, yeah, Alpocalypse was my first album, or I was born a few years before Mandatory Fun, and I'm like, that can't be.
I know.
Okay. I mean, there's got to be a way that he could do a song like this, couldn't there? I don't know.
There would have to be. There would have to be. Like, like,
It-
yes, my note says discuss how the stalker comedy premise lands differently now. And like it does, because we talked about the internet making this kind of thing way different.
Right.
But he's,
I
don't know. Go ahead. No,
I,
you go
I
ahead.
I think you could make a similar song about like Facebook stalking, or the very like parasocial relationships that we were talking about earlier. So I think it would be a different framework, which I guess isn't necessarily um the type of relationship that we're talking about here, but I think there's a way to do it. I don't like to get on a soapbox, so I'm not going to, but I occasionally when it's like, oh, can this thing be made today? I think a lot of stuff can still be made today. It's just the lens that you're looking at it, the perspective that you're looking at it from might be a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And comedy is one of those things in general that, you know, I'm trying to find a really nice way to say this.
Right.
I feel like people that get offended by jokes like this aren't smart enough to get jokes like this, if that makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite genres of comedy is roast comedy. I absolutely love a roast, like from the classic Dean Martin roasts to like the roast of Bob Saget is just like classic television. Yeah. There's some really great comedy that happens in a roast, but roasts are mean, right? Yeah. But everybody's in on the joke. So is it really mean if everybody understands what's happening, right? And I feel like, I've watched a lot of roasts. Like I watched like the classic Dean Martin roasts from, back in the 70s, 60s and 70s, right? It's like there's stuff that they said then that would be considered offensive now, but when you take it in the context that it is, which is again like roast comedy that's supposed to be mean, like get over it. Like get over it. And it's very much like this. Like what you're getting into with Weird Al. Like get over it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I would say the one the one line that really kind of makes this entire song for me is, if you just say the word, I'm certain that our love would last forever, or are you too dumb to realize it? And that's kind of when the mask falls, and it's kind of like, okay, if you haven't figured out at this point that this is that this is making fun of people that do this kind of thing, then it's just not something that you're ever gonna get.
Right, because you're too dumb to realize that.
Right.
Yeah, and like that line in and of itself, right? Like this narrator is so delusional that he thinks doing this stuff is going to win her attention, and then when it doesn't,
Yep. He gets mad.
He gets mad and he gets frustrated, which is a very real thing that happens, But and so like that's it, right? Part of good comedy has some kind of root in reality, but you also have to be open to the fact that good comedy might make you uncomfortable, but you have to think about the intent behind the comedy, right? Just like I said, with like roast comedy, everybody knows what they're there for. Everybody knows what a roast is. Everybody knows what a Weird Al song is. But again, one of the other beauties of good comedy is it makes you think about, well, what's this joke based in? And then you think on that. Like, yes, this is an overblown example, but at the end of the day, somebody who listens to, gets, and appreciates the song Melanie isn't going to do anything close to what happens in this song. right?
Yeah.
Because that's the joke.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, that's, yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
I very much agree. I do want to, uh, just to bring this up as an aside, one of my favorite moments in the Bob Saget comedy roast is when Norm Macdonald
Oh,
goes up and you
King.
think you're like, oh, okay, Norm's coming up. This is gonna be good, and you think he's just gonna go in on Bob, and then he pulls out this '50s joke book with the lamest possible jokes, just the most clean cut thing, and they're all just sitting there laughing because he's like committed to the bit. And so, if you're the type of person that would be offended by the Comedy Central roast, like go watch that part, and then you don't have to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I know. Oh my, the commitment to the bit though, like that's chef's kiss, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Oh my god, I just love it so much. So yeah, we're getting through some stuff about, I don't know. Do you want to talk about like some of our favorite lines or moments in the song? Do you have any? We think we touched on some of them, and so did I.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think my favorite moment is that line about are you too dumb to realize it? I love, again, a lot of what I like about this song, surprisingly, is just the mood of it and the harmonies in the song, especially when it gets into um maybe it's the bridge where all those harmonies come in and L does the ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was spot
That's
on, both of us. We did a great job there.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god. I I couldn't stop myself. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And then
You do
before I
it.
knew it, I was like, dang it. Uh
Ooh.
but I think that, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite parts because again, it feeds into this idea that this guy is just too far gone in his delusions. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. And again,
And,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, and then I think same thing when he says Melanie and then goes into that higher register.
Melanie.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah,
that whole thing. Yeah,
it's pretty. It's pretty.
yeah.
I mean, my favorite line in it absolutely has to be, now I may be dead, but I still love you.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so then it's like, how's he singing the song then?
Well, I mean, he's probably singing it from heaven, but I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, he's in heaven, um, and he's got the room next to the noisy ice machine
For all
because Saint
eternity.
Peter didn't like the Nehru jacket that he was wearing, which is typical that guy would be wearing a Nehru jacket.
Yep. And not
And,
liking it is some typical St. Peter BS.
exactly.
Always judging wardrobes. Should be busy, managing the gate. He's not the fashion police.
Exactly.
Gosh. Yeah. I don't know. Raise your hand if you had to look up what a Nehru jacket was the first time you heard that song. I know, me too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the year after we got that song, then we got Austin Powers, and then Dr. Evil's wearing a Nehru jacket. So I was like, oh, I understand. Now I understand.
I think the only reason that I kind of knew what color the jacket was supposed to be was because of that fan made music video for Everything You Know Is Wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have had any idea. My fashion is very plain. I just throw on whatever. So
yeah, that's okay. Live your life, man.
yeah,
We live our life.
Absolutely.
So how do you feel about where this song sits in Weird Al's catalog, right? Like I think it's like a really good example of how his original songs can be just as, if not more sharp than the parodies, right? Like I think that my top favorite Weird Al songs, I think you'd have to get pretty deep into the list for a parody to show up.
Same. Um, yeah, I should have looked where it is in my rankings, but I think this was one of because when I first became a fan of Weird Al, I stuck to the parodies. I maybe had a couple of deep cuts in there, like Dare to Be Stupid, which is not a super deep cut, but then I remember when I found Melanie that this was one of the first songs where I was like, oh, okay, so he does stuff other than parodies, and this is really good, because you can tell the care that goes into the musicianship. So I feel like I would put it pretty dang high in terms of the rest of his catalog, because it's um it's just one of those like rare gems where it's kind of like, okay, he's not covering anything super um famous, like not a famous song, not necessarily a famous artist, but he's still created something that was really catchy. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I've seen him do it. You know what? Hold on. I have a spreadsheet. I took some time to do a spreadsheet of Weird Al songs I've seen live and the number of times I've seen each one. Um, and I know I've seen Melanie. I have seen Melanie 3 times.
oh
So,
well.
so there you have
Yeah,
that.
I definitely have heard it live at least once. I think he played it at the second Vanity Tour show that I went to in 2022. So yeah,
That makes sense.
um, I think he opened with it at the show that I went to, because um, the minute that I heard those first few notes, I was like, oh my god, it's Melanie.
Yep,
So
I did the same thing. Yeah, it's fun. I don't need to belabor this whole entire thing, but when like getting the tickets for the shows that we're going to on this upcoming tour,
right,
it occurred
yep,
to me that the shows that we're going to see are on Wednesdays,
right.
and uh the last 2 times, 3 times I've seen Weird Al before this with my husband have been on Wednesdays. And so I'm like, is it Weird Al Wednesday? Is like that what I do? Right. So then I
Right.
went through like all of the times that I've seen Weird Al and I looked at like the frequency of days of the week. And I believe the only day of the week I haven't seen Weird Al is a Thursday.
Oh,
Which is weird. Then that led me into being like, okay, well, now that I know when all these specific shows were, let me look them up on Setlist FM, get all
right.
the songs that I've seen each time, and then I have a whole spreadsheet with the songs I've seen Amish Paradise more than any other song.
Oh,
So
yeah. No, that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely have seen Al on a Thursday,
you
because
got me beat
I
there, bro.
remember I remember it was on one of my Big Brother nights, and so I was like, all right, this is the only thing that can tear me away from my show. But yeah, I think typically I've seen him on the weekends. So
Well, that's yeah.
yeah,
So yeah. Wednesday. It's Wednesday for me. Weird Al Wednesday. That's how it goes.
yeah,
Um,
love it.
Anything you wanted to add for a closing take? I mean, this works because it commits to the bit and it's catchy, uncomfortable, ridiculous, and weirdly singable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I Yeah, I just love the song. I love that it can give you almost the same feeling that any regular love song can give. And yeah, I can't help but just kind of chuckle at the kind of juxtaposition there. So
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I think that's a perfect way to close the conversation. Before I let you go, I feel like I need to let the people know that through the end of this album, we are really going to be immersing ourselves in conversations with people from the Detroit, Michigan music scene. So, yeah. Now, Russ has talked on the show quite a bit about Rock City Music Company, where we get our records and stuff like that from. They're up there, and a couple of guys from there are going to be on for various episodes. And I've teased it before, but my stepson, Russ's son Zach, will be here to talk about Twister, and our goal is to make that episode ridiculously long because the song is not.
If it is less than 2 hours, I will be very disappointed.
That's we're aiming. We're gonna see what we can do about that because we got a lot to unpack with that particular track. So we'll see what we can do. We're gonna do our darndest. But yeah, we're gonna be taking this album out on a pretty good high note, and then see where we go from there. You know, we got the UHF album on deck after that, but you know. That's a ways away. These episodes come out every other week, so you know, I'm gonna take my time with it. All right, Noah. Anything you wanted to? You mentioned your show there at the beginning, which I'll make sure gets into the description of this episode. But any closing things you'd like to leave the people with?
You know, I enjoy any time that I come on here, and yeah, I don't have too much going on. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at Noah Massay, Mussay. I'm on Blue Sky at noahmassay.bsky.social. Big Brother's coming up in 2 months, so I will probably put all my thoughts over there. And yeah, other than that, I'll just be listening.
I love it. Well, yeah, I love having you on the show. It's always a good conversation with you. So thank you again for coming back. And I'm sure we'll talk to you again in the not too distant future as far as the relative time of this podcast is concerned. Well, with that, I will leave you with the wise words of our hero, Weird Al Yankovic. Be kind, bring joy, repeat. Bye.